Hey, Xer.
It's the Y-E-K to the C-Y-R. Narrow path, gang running, so we all raise the bar. If you on that broad path, hey, you won't get far. It's the Y-E-K to the C-Y-R. Keep the laws and commandments, Torah gang up in this. The way that I live, I don't follow religions. Shabbat in the feast days, no Easter, no Christmas. Yahuah taught the law, it's not abolished or finished. The father named Yahuah, you reducing the titles. And Lord mean Baal, that's a Canaanite idol. No religious institution, I just stay with the Bible. Preparing for Messiah, I await his arrival. The name is Yahuah, let's make it go viral. Rejecting his name, you deceive by these idols. Yehudi, not a Christian, more a Muslim, a Jew. I don't follow no religion and neither should you. It's the Y-E-K to the C-Y-R. Narrow path, gang running, so we all raise the bar. If you on that broad path, hey, you won't get far. It's the Y-E-K to the C-Y-R. Yeah, the Torah is life, yeah, I'm keeping the law. Grace alone won't save you, contradictions of Paul. But without grace, you cannot keep the law. At the name of Yahuah, demons tremble and fall. Bold as a lion, don't fear the devil at all. I'm listening to Yahuah, not listen to y'all. Kick the devil in his face, I'm empowered by Yah. All esteem to the king, Rumamu Yahuah. Because I keep the laws, they say I'm lost in the code. Burning sage, using crystals, yeah, that's all to your code. False doctrine disproven, and they don't want the smoke. They go hard for the kingdom ever since I awoke. It's the Y-E-K to the C-Y-R. Narrow path, gang running, so we all raise the bar. If you on that broad path, hey, you won't get far. It's the Y-E-K to the C-Y-R. Yeah.
Hey, Xer.
Yeah. This world is changing. This world that we living in will never be the same. Never be the same, ayy, never be the same. This world is so falling like the leaves when seasons change. Keep the most high first, ain't no need to rearrange. This world that we living in will never be the same. Never be the same, ayy, never be the same. This world is so falling like the leaves when seasons change. Keep the most high first, ain't no need to rearrange. If you don't know the Bible, you may never see the change. Me and the Holy Father, we will never be estranged. His set apart spirit came to take away the pain. You think the Bible isn't true, you must be dead up in the brain. Global famine coming, Abba help me to sustain. The tribulation coming, evil barely can abstain. They lied about the poisonous, so many will be slain. But the righteous will prevail, King Yahuah, he will reign. I am in this world, but I'm surely not of it. I don't idolize celebrities, they all just some puppets. They lies you really covet, they live a lie and you love it. I ain't take the snake bite, cause I really don't trust it. Yahuah gave us laws, cause he called us beloved. I said that I'm a Hebrew, Christians told me to shut it. This system that they building, yeah, it's all about control. Merging tech with humanity is really their whole goal, yeah. This world that we living in will never be the same. Never be the same, ayy, never be the same. This world is so falling like the leaves when seasons change. Keep the most high first, ain't no need to rearrange. This world that we living in will never be the same. Never be the same, ayy, never be the same. This world is so falling like the leaves when seasons change. Keep the most high first, ain't no need to rearrange.
Hey, Xer.
laws ain't done away. Ay, a follower of the way. Yeah, King Yahuah is the way. Yeah, ay, the laws ain't done away, done away, done away. Ay, the laws ain't done away. Ay, a follower of the way. Yeah, King Yahuah is the way. Yeah, ay, the laws ain't done away, done away, done away. Ay, Yasharel, we the Kadashim progeny. And them curses got us living so lawlessly. Fell into idolatry, Yahuah is the prodigy. Babylon pulled us into sodomy, pornography. Seed of Satan brought falsity so flawlessly. Deuteronomy told us this was prophecy. Chapter 28, it speaks of these atrocities. They tried to hide slavery, but never offered us apologies. Wrote this album for my people, ain't no stopping me. Modern day Moses and Yahuah, he is calling me. Censorship ain't stalling me, he gave his laws for all to see. In his kingdom there is solidly just harmony. Yahuah the Messiah, yeah, he kept the law perfectly. Lamb of Yahuah wasn't limited to carpentry. Spoken parables, taught the law so ardently. The Torah made flesh and he lived it so awfully. Messiah kept the law so it shouldn't be hard to see. Set apart spirit helped the law become a part of me. The narrow road I'm walking, that is honestly an odyssey. The law ain't done away, that is obviously some mockery. Yeah. Ay, the laws ain't done away. Ay, a follower of the way. Yeah, King Yahuah is the way. Yeah, ay, the laws ain't done away, done away, done away. Ay, the laws ain't done away. Ay, a follower of the way. Yeah, King Yahuah is the way. Yeah, ay, the laws ain't done away, done away, done away. Ay.
Hey, Yexer. Hey, Yexer.
Our counterintelligence program must prevent the rise of a black Messiah.
Look, we went from Hebrew to a Negro to a runaway slave. Came up off that plantation, broke our shackles and chains. And it's no more cotton picking, no tobacco, no cane. This a whole new plateau where Yasharel will remain. We went from Hebrew to a Negro to a runaway slave. Came up off that plantation, broke our shackles and chains. And it's no more cotton picking, no tobacco, no cane. This a whole new plateau where Yasharel will remain. Only one nation of people have their heritage hidden. In the scriptures it's been written, I'm no longer a Christian. Went from Negro to a black or a colored. By the blood of Yahuah we redeemed and recovered. And Yahuah gave us structure, now the truth is uncovered. Recompense for how our people and our youth have just suffered. And the lies that they told us now ruptured and punctured. And we fell from His grace but now restored and recovered. Yeah, they beat us and deceived us and their deeds were egregious. Had us bowing to the cross and controlled us with Jesus. And they did it so seamless and it made us obsequious. And Yahuah loved His people, He restored us with meekness. It is He that woke us up to our Hebrew uniqueness. Yasharel and Yahuah, not a greater allegiance. Wipe the tears from our eyes cause He knows of our grievance. Through the blood of Yahuah, no more tormented demons. We went from Hebrew to a Negro to a runaway slave. Came up off that plantation, broke our shackles and chains. And it's no more cotton picking, no tobacco, no cane. This a whole new plateau where Yasharel will remain. We went from Hebrew to a Negro to a runaway slave. Came up off that plantation, broke our shackles and chains. And it's no more cotton picking, no tobacco, no cane. This a whole new plateau where Yasharel will remain. Yahuah set us free, we not hanging from trees. If we say we set apart, acting while we slang in the streets, and we kill our own brother off of so-called beef. Mainstream music is destructive and we can't find no peace. And I'm a child of the king, we were more than a slave. His name is a strong tower, in Yahuah we safe. Manufactured us a culture that's immoral, depraved. His name written on our foreheads, forever engraved. And there is no word spoken that can measure our pain. Through all the terror and the pressure, we still call on his name. For centuries, Yasharel, we've been all led astray. Transgressions of our sins, yeah, led us away. And our people stiff-necked and they all disobey. But by Yahuah and Yahusha, we not walking in faith. One people, one nation, yeah, run through our veins. Because Yahusha fled those curses, I'm a runaway slave. We went from Hebrew to a Negro to a runaway slave. Came up off that plantation, broke our shackles and chains. And it's no more cotton picking, no tobacco, no cane. This a whole new plateau where Yasharel will remain. We went from Hebrew to a Negro to a runaway slave. Came up off that plantation, broke our shackles and chains. And it's no more cotton picking, no tobacco, no cane. This a whole new plateau where Yasharel will remain. Yeah.
Hey, Yexer.
Up on the names depending on who they around. I stand on Yahuah and Yahusha and there is no rebound. Why you keep going to the circus if you sick of the clowns? And I don't need no validation, come to grips with it now. Followers and likes on IG, they mean nothing to me. Only making it to heaven, being deemed worthy. I don't break bread with devils, won't compromise for no bag. I ain't biting my tongue or switching up like the You don't like what I say, you can kindly unfollow. If you ain't preaching repentance, you not preaching the gospel. And I'm bold as a lion, about as real as they come. I'm going harder every album, many fear what I become. And the love is truly fake, but the hatred is real. And I'm way too controversial, but it's part of my zeal. I don't water down the word, I speak from the heart what I feel. You so used to the fakeness that you hate that I'm real. Yeah, bang, bang. I'm just a young black king in a white man's world. Pagan pig passes, lion slicing dice in the word. And now the heathens all mad, calling out the white man's lies. No Messiah was a Negro, hurt the white man's pride. And that hatred within is truly burning inside. Hatred of Yahuah's people get his mercy denied. And that you call Jesus had you bursting with pride. And Yahusha HaMashiach we stand firmly beside. And there ain't nothing worse than that heathen denial. And they hate Yahuah's people but claim belief in the Bible. And they lies all exposed and our freedom is frightful. And Yahuah will judge the heathen, what he says is final. Obadiah, Nehemiah, read it all in the Bible. And Yahuah waking us up, he gon' lead the disciples. And there's no turning back, on this hill I will die. When we cry out to Yahuah, he will hear us on high. Yeah.
Hey, Yexer.
Hey. Welcome, everybody. We'll be jumping in just a second. I'm going to bring in the countdown music.
Welcome to the show. Almost ready to go. Hit the like button for show. Yeah, you already know. Dun 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 dun.
Shalom, 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 family. All praises to the Most High. It's your boy, Yexer. Back with another episode. So good to be here with you guys again. I know the stream out there earlier was a little impromptu, but y'all know what it is. Yexer just be randomly popping in, popping out, popping in, popping out. Hey, yeah. So this is a continuation of the last episode that we did. Are we all made in Yahuah's image? Well, we started our lesson a few days ago, and this is going to be, I guess, well, I mean, I don't think I really have anything else I need to prove in regards to this, but I believe this will be the conclusive episode, episode 2. So we're going to do a little bit of a, review of what we looked at last week. We're going to continue to watch the video that we watched yesterday that brought out some very important truths, but I want to give a special shout. Yakova, he said, you have me laughing on the last live. Aki, I'm just, you know how it is with them people. You know how it is with them folks. You know what I'm saying? And I just had to say it just to say it. You know what I'm saying? You know how that go, Ak. So shout out to you, though. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I want to give a specific thank you to our newest member, Tracy Gann. She just joined the membership. Family, I see her in the chat. Please show her, this beloved sister, some love for joining the membership, joining the family. Since we welcome you here, we have a lot of fun here. We bring out a lot of truth. So, thank you for supporting the channel and joining the membership. We really, really appreciate you, sis. So thank you so much, family. Please be sure to show the sister some love, okay? Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the moderators. We're going to just jump into this, man. I promise I'm a little less zeked up today. I mean, at this moment, I kind of said what I need to say earlier. Okay. All right. So let's just do a little bit of a review of what we looked at in our last session. And then we're going to bring this all together. And I'm going to bring out some uncomfortable truths. But you know what? Hey, it is what it is, right? So let me pull up. I'm actually using a better browser. And this browser seems to be 100% working better. So I'm going to try to see if I can give y'all a smooth stream today. Yahuah willing, let his will be done. Okay. All right, family. So we're going to go over here to my blog, and we're going to look at some of the things that we looked at prior in the first episode. We're going to just review some of it, and then we're going to move forward with this, okay? So are we all made in Yahuah's image, right? That is the question. That is what we are presenting today. Now, I feel like from the first episode, I've already proven we're not. But just in case people are new and they're trying to understand, how did I come up with this observation? How did I come up with this? How do I determine this? Well, if we look at the scriptures, okay, in the very beginning of the Torah, which is the very first book of the Torah, which is Bereshit through Genesis, Yahuah says that he made male and female in his image, right? That's Bereshit chapter 1, verses 26 through 27. And Yahuah said, let us make man according to our image and likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the flying creatures of the heaven, over the cattle, over the earth, and all the reptiles that creep upon the earth. And Yahuah made man according to the image of Yahuah. Okay, he made him male and female. He made them. Okay, so the male and the female are made in Yahuah's image. Okay, now when we want to understand what that image is, we have to understand where the Garden of Eden was, as we went through in our first lesson. Okay, so Bereshit, Genesis 2, 7 through 14, and Yahuah formed Ha-Adam, the man, of dust, and Ha-Adamah, okay, the ground. and breathed upon his face the breath of life, and the man became a living soul. And Yahuah planted a garden eastward in Adon or Eden, and placed there the man whom he had formed. And Yahuah made to spring up also out of the earth every tree beautiful to the eye and good for food, the tree of life in the midst of the garden, and the tree of learning, the knowledge of good and evil. Okay, now they told you in the, if you look at the Masoretic, it says the tree of good and evil. But this tree, the fruits of the tree, when we look at the Septuagint, says it's the tree of learning the knowledge of good and evil. Very interesting, that little subtle nuance there. Let's keep reading. Again, once we understand where the garden is and where the story of creation begins, where Yahuah has formed man and the woman that came from the man's rib, that's where we can understand who is made in his image. Okay, so let's keep reading. Verse 10, and a river proceeds out of Adon to water the garden. Thence it divides itself into four heads. The name of the one, Pashum. This is it, which encircles the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good. And also there's carbuncle and emerald. And the name of the second river is Gahan or Gion. And this is which encircles the land of what? Ethiopia. Okay, so we already understand that Yahuah chose to use the dust of the ground, or the Adamah, the dirt of Africa, Ethiopia, okay, to form man. He could have chose any other land, but he chose the continent to form the first man. So as we had already determined, the Ethiopian black man is who, and the black woman is who is made in Yahuwah's image, the black man, the black woman. Because if Yahuah created man from the dirt of Ethiopia, then that tells you right there, he gonna make melanated people that can live and dwell within this continent where you dealing with the African sun and these extreme heat temperatures. Because Adam and Eve, or Kuah, they were outside. They were out in paradise. They were out in the sun. Okay, these were not, individuals dwelling in caves. Okay, as I mentioned in the book of Adam and Eve, they were banished to this cave of treasures because of the transgression against Yahuwah's commandment. Okay, but these would have to be melanated people to be able to dwell in Africa. Okay, and to be within that garden within East Africa. Okay. So keep reading. In the river Tigris, the third river is Tigris, and this is which flows forth against the Assyrians, and the fourth river is Euphrates. Now we also look in the book of Amos, or Amos chapter 9, verse 7, where Yahuah compares his children to the Ethiopians. Let's read it. Are you not to me as the sons of the Ethiopians, O children of Yasharal, saith Yahuah? Did I not bring Yasharal up out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Cappadocia, and the Syrians out of the deep? So again, we see here, those who are made in his image are melanated people, okay? Melanated, black, brown, dark-skinned people, okay? Period, point blank. That's nobody else, all right? Let's keep reading. Daniel 7:9, this describes the Father. And I beheld until the thrones were set, and the Ancient of Days sat, and his raiment was white as snow, and the hair of his head, not white as wool, but as pure wool. His throne was a flame of fire, and his wheels burning fire. And we get another witness about Yahushua HaMashiach right here in Kanuk or Enoch 46, 1-2. Therefore I beheld the Ancient of Days, whose head was like wool. Of course, in this translation, they have white wool. And with him another whose countenance resembled that of a man. His countenance was full of grace like that of the holy angels. Then I inquired of one of the angels who went with me, who showed me every secret thing concerning this Son of Man, who he was, whence he was, and why he accompanied the Ancient of Days. So even Yahushua HaMashiach, this connects to what we read in Revelation chapter 1, verses 14-15. Obviously, Yahushua HaMashiach was a Negro, so he would have Negroid features, and he would be a Negro. So the father, like son, if Yahuwah had Negroid features, hair like wool, you know what I'm saying? He had a skin as if burnished copper, burnished brass. He was obviously melanated. Okay, Jasper, you think about Jasper stone, right? Jasper stone is obviously more of a brownish, reddish color. Okay, so we are talking about even Yahuwah. We know he is Ruach. We know that he is spirit, right? But his Ruach is still what would be defined and perceived by man as melanated. So what Ezekiel saw, okay, as well as Kanuk or Enoch, even Abraham, they all saw a melanated Yahuah, okay? A melanated Yahuah. Let's keep going. Canuk, Enoch, 70:12. And then the in some of the Masoretic text would be 71:12. With them was the Ancient of Days, whose head was like wool. Now you'll have some of these Christians take this and say, well, his head was woolly. Like, are you actually serious? His head was like wool and pure, and his robe was indescribable. Then, of course, Revelations, Kazun 1:14, his head and hair were white as wool, or like wool as snow. His eyes as a flame of fire, his feet like burnished brass, as if refined in a furnace, and his voice was the sound of many waters. Now, just in case you guys need a reminder, this is woolly hair. Okay, just in case you might be wondering, yeah, sir, well, what did that could possibly mean this? This is woolly hair, family. This is the texture that is being described in the scriptures, okay? Woolly hair Negroes, okay? No other people on this earth have hair like this. That naturally is like this. Now, I see these Asians, they be wanting to get their hair like this, and they do stuff to their hair, but their hair is naturally straight, okay? So when we think of our Father, when we think of Mashiach, when we think of our people, this is what comes to mind of woolly hair. It's very, very simple. You feel what I'm saying? But people just have denialism about certain things, okay? So again, this proves the black man and the black woman are those who are created in Yahuah's image, because our features connect directly to how Yahuah is described, as well as how Yahusha is described, okay? And that's not even factoring in everything in Deuteronomy 28 and what we know about what the scriptures say. And this is some more examples, just in case you might be a little skeptical, okay? You see this black woman, you see that woolly hair? Yep, Negroes, okay? So we are talking about Negroid people here. Okay, and if you guys have already seen my video about Israelites, I've talked about the Afrocentric hairstyles, the African hairstyles, and how they are found all throughout scripture, even things like dreadlocks and so on and so forth. Okay. All right. So we're going to jump back over here to this video we were watching about the fallen angels, family. We were talking about the fallen angels, and we were talking about, how, the Horites, okay, would be an example of what you would think of as the Neanderthals. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in depth too. But we're going to finish up this video that we was watching. If you didn't see the first video, we're not going to, start it from the beginning, but we're going to just watch a little bit more of this to get more context, because I put this together, earlier, before I had seen this particular video, in my Esau and the Horites documentary. So if you have not seen that film, I highly suggest you go check it out. It's on my front page. It has over 100,000 views. All praises to the Most High. It will really help you understand why we are looking at what we're looking at, okay? So let's watch this. Let me make sure the sound's on real quick. Yep. Okay, here we go, family.
By symptoms that are both physical and systemic. It has the potential to cause sores that eat away at the limbs and facial features, sometimes leaving the individual handicapped and disfigured. The disease attacks the skin, cartilage, and bone, causing parts or all of the body to turn white, pale, or even acquire a pinkish hue. In some instances, it even causes the hair to turn blonde or light in color, and the eyes to adopt hues of any color but black or dark brown. But leprosy's impact is not merely skin deep. It also wreaks havoc on the immune system, leaving the individual more susceptible to other diseases. One noteworthy consequence of this disease is its effect on the body's ability to absorb sunlight. Individuals affected by leprosy often find themselves
Okay, you guys remember in the first episode how we looked at Michael Jackson, right? A full-on Negro, a full-on Yahudi with a Yahudi father, Yahudi mother, full-on Yahudi family, right? But when he started to develop this so-called vitiligo, y'all started to notice him taking, a lot of pictures and images he was taking when he was outside. He could not handle the sunlight, okay? So now this video right here is supporting the fact that Michael Jackson developed leprosy. Vitiligo is a man-made term created by these Europeans. They don't want you to understand that that was biblical leprosy. And this man right here in this documentary is saying that when a person develops leprosy, they develop a sensitivity to sunlight. This is exactly why Michael Jackson, when he, became more pale, started, going outside and doing interviews with an umbrella over him in the broad daylight. Okay. So don't let them distract you with the term vitiligo, so to speak. What Michael Jackson had was straight up leprosy. It's where a dark-skinned man, a melanated man, melanated woman can just start breaking out and turning pale. Okay? Not because they're sick or anything like that. It's because there's an infection. Okay? The scriptures describe it as a plague. Okay? Let's keep watching.
Usually sensitive to sunlight, which can lead to issues absorbing adequate amounts of vitamin D. Now, let's delve a little deeper. Leprosy is not just a disease that affects the body, it also brings about changes in human DNA. This is where things get even more fascinating.
Oh boy.
Leprosy is capable of causing gene mutations which can lead to a permanent depletion of the body's melanin, the pigment that gives human skin, hair, and eyes their color. So when an individual contracts leprosy, the disease doesn't just cause temporary symptoms, it also brings about permanent changes in the body's genetic makeup. These changes, once established, can be passed on to the person's offspring. In essence, leprosy is more than a disease. It's a biological event that can shape the genetic destiny of individuals and their descendants. Now let's
factor that in with what Yahuah said to Gehazi. Y'all remember Gehazi in scripture was cursed with leprosy, and Yahuah said to Gehazi that you and your descendants will be leprous. This totally ties to scripture, family. Gehazi was cursed with leprosy, and Yahuah said, the curse of Naaman, the leprosy of Naaman, will cleave to you and your descendants forever. Very, very interesting. See, we've been lied to, family. We've been lied to. We've been told leprosy is, just little cyst developing in your skin. But what we realize is it's full-on paleness. From a Negro to be, or an individual with melanin in their skin to just go on full-on pale was considered a disease, okay, a plague. Just like you think about the plagues of Egypt. Remember, plagues ain't a good thing. All right, let's keep watching.
Ponder how this relates to white people. What happens when leprosy changes one's DNA? This is a question that unravels the hidden facets of genetics and disease transmission. Leprosy, a disease known for its debilitating physical effects, also has an insidious impact on the human genome. It triggers a gene mutation that permanently depletes the body's melanin, a vital pigment responsible for the color of our skin, hair, and eyes. Once this mutation occurs, the new DNA bearing the mark of leprosy becomes the blueprint for the individual's physical traits. This altered DNA is not superior, but rather inferior to its original form, as it carries the permanent symptoms of leprosy.
Now, I wanna just make it clear really quickly, family. This man just showed an albino in the video, okay? An albino would not be considered so much leprous, okay? Because you can have two dark-skinned individuals that neither of them have leprosy, and a albino child could be born. Remember, Noah, his father Lamech, and his mother, they were both dark-skinned black people, okay? So it's not inconceivable that a person can be born with albinism, right, but have two dark-skinned melanated parents. Okay, so that would not be considered leprosy. Leprosy is more so when a person is born as a melanated individual and they start to become pale over time. That's not the same as being born pale and having albinism, but still obviously being Negro and having Negroid hair, Negroid features, and all of those other things. So there is a distinction between leprosy and albinism. Albinism you're born with. Leprosy is something you develop later on. Okay, big difference between those two things, family. Okay, just understand that.
The pale skin, light hair, and non-dark eyes, all signs of the disease, become a part of the individual's genetic identity. When two full-bred lepers bearing all these permanent symptoms have offspring, their children inherit the same leprosy-affected DNA. Occasionally, a recessive gene trait may surface from their original melanated ancestors' DNA, resulting in dark hair or eyes. However, the skin still bears the telltale signs of leprosy. Now let's consider a different scenario. What happens when a full-bred leper and a full-bred melanated parent have children? The leprosy gene becomes recessive, and the offspring may exhibit one or two symptoms of the disease. Yet it's the melanated parent's DNA that dominates, showcasing the resilience of the melanated genome. In the case of offspring from two mixed-bred parents, they may inherit either a recessive melanated gene trait or a recessive leprosy gene trait. This genetic shuffle demonstrates how leprosy, through its DNA-altering power, can influence the gene pool. So, is it accurate to say that leprosy is diluting the gene pool? It's a question that invites us to ponder the complex dance of genetics, disease, and human diversity. Let's not forget about modern diseases. As we navigate the labyrinth of genetic disorders, we stumble upon two conditions that bear an uncanny resemblance to leprosy: vitiligo and albinism. Vitiligo is characterized by the loss of skin color in patches, while albinism leads to a lack of pigmentation in the skin, hair, and eyes.
See, there's a difference.
Both conditions, much like leprosy, are associated with melanin deficiencies. Could these be nothing more than different strains of leprosy?
Crusty feet.
It's a daunting proposition, isn't it?
Yuck.
But let's consider the bigger picture. Diseases, much like living organisms, have a knack for evolution. They mutate, they adapt, they evolve into different strains, each with its own unique set of traits. A classic example of this is the avian influenza, or bird flu. Over time, it has mutated into various strains, each more potent than the last. And then there's the infamous COVID-19. Isn't it fascinating how it has evolved into different variants, each carrying some of the original symptoms while introducing new ones? The Delta and Omicron variants, for instance, are testimony to the relentless nature of mutation. So, isn't it plausible to think of vitiligo and albinism as different strains of leprosy, each having mutated over thousands of years? The notion might seem far-fetched, but isn't that what they said about
these Smurfs in the building? Hey, Shalom Aki, all praises to the Most High Yahuah. Good to see you, fam. Welcome.
the Earth being round, or that humans could fly? Over the years, we've seen countless theories debunked, only to be replaced by new ones that better fit the puzzle. And perhaps, in the grand scheme of things, this is just another piece of the puzzle, waiting to be placed in its rightful spot. So, are these diseases simply different faces of leprosy? It's a question that demands further research, open minds, and the courage to challenge.
Let me answer this question, because I think Sis asked a good question. She says, what about a child born with a large birthmark that was darker than them at birth, but is lighter as their true color came in? Would that be considered leprosy? Leprosy is normally would not be considered as a darker color. Leprosy would be the total whitening of the skin. Okay, whether it's like little speckles or spots, or whether it's full-on whitening over a period of time. So if a person has like a darker birthmark, and then as their color comes in, it starts to darken a little bit more, that would not be considered leprosy. Because when we looked at the Torah in our first episode, if a person had a darker mark on their body, it was not considered to be the same thing as leprosy, nor would it make them unclean. So I don't think that that's the same thing, sis. Leprosy is more applicable to more of a whiter color to it, a whiter hue. So yeah, I think that would be more considered a birthmark more than it would be leprosy, sis. Just to be clear. I mean, I could be wrong, but from what we looked at in the Torah yesterday, I don't think that that's applicable to leprosy, sis.
Long-held beliefs. But remember, in the pursuit of knowledge, no question is too absurd, no hypothesis too outrageous. After all, isn't that what makes the journey of discovery so exhilarating? They say that skin color is determined by the climate one lives in. Now, isn't that an intriguing theory? The thought that your skin's hue is dictated by the whims of the weather is fascinating, to say the least. Let's delve a little deeper. The claim is that white skin evolved due to living in cold climates with scarce sunlight, while dark skin developed because of residing in hot climates with an abundance of sun. On the surface, this seems plausible. After all, it's a known fact that darker skin pigmentation is a natural sunscreen, protecting against the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun. Similarly, it is suggested that lighter skin tones evolved to absorb more sunlight and synthesize more vitamin D in regions with less sunlight. But is this the whole truth? Could it be that simple? Consider this. We have populations living in similarly sunny or cold climates, yet their skin tones vary widely. For instance, the indigenous peoples of the Arctic regions have relatively dark skin, despite living in an environment with minimal sunlight for half the year. Conversely, the San people of southern Africa, who dwell in sun-saturated areas, have lighter skin compared to other African groups. Furthermore, if skin color was solely a result of climate adaptation, wouldn't we see a gradual shift in skin tones along geographical latitudes? Instead, we witness a multitude of skin tones in close proximity, suggesting a more complex interplay of factors. Beyond the climate, there's the factor of human migration, interbreeding, and genetic mutation over thousands of years. Our skin color, it seems, is not just a response to the sun's rays or the chill of the wind, but a testament to our shared and diverse human history. So as we ponder this theory, we must ask ourselves, is it really about the climate, or is it about something more? Perhaps the answer lies not in the vast expanse of our external environment, but within the microscopic world of our DNA. The proof, as they say, is in the pudding, or in this case, the DNA. This helix of life, the blueprint of our very existence, holds secrets that are far more profound and intricate than we often give credit. Let's delve into the realm of genetics, where the truth of our skin color lies. Skin color is not a whimsical trait chosen by the winds of climate or the whims of disease. It's a genetic attribute determined by our DNA. The key player in this process is a pigment known as melanin, which is responsible for the color of our skin, hair, and eyes. Melanin is more than a mere painter of hues. It's a powerful element that fortifies our bodies, protecting us from the harmful effects of ultraviolet radiation from the sun. It's a natural sunscreen, if you will, that shields us from the harshness of our celestial neighbor. When we talk about leprosy, we're discussing a disease that alters the DNA, causing a depletion of melanin, leading to the lightening of skin, hair, and eyes. This isn't a sign of superiority, but rather a sign of a disease that has changed the very fabric of one's genetic code. However, it's important to note that these changes don't elevate or degrade the quality of one's DNA. They simply alter it. In the grand tapestry of life, every thread, every strand of DNA is essential and valuable. Interestingly, the presence of melanin isn't a binary on-off situation. There's a whole spectrum of melanin levels, leading to the beautiful diversity of skin tones we see in the human race. From the deepest ebony to the lightest porcelain, every shade is a testament.
All right, I'm going to fast forward just a little bit, family, because, none of this is really, it's important, but I want to kind of get to the meat and potatoes, okay?
Of factors including genetics, environment, and culture. Remember, knowledge is power. Keep questioning, keep exploring. The more we learn and understand about our world and ourselves, the better we can navigate through it.
Have you ever wondered why Gehazi, who was initially dark-skinned, ended up as a leper as white as snow? To unpack this intriguing transformation, we step into the biblical narrative found in 2 Kings chapter 5, verse 27. Here we encounter Gehazi, a servant of the prophet Elisha, who is struck with leprosy as a consequence of his greed and deceit. The scripture tells us, "The leprosy therefore of Naaman shall cleave unto thee, and unto thy seed forever." And he went out from his presence a leper as white as snow. This is a profound moment where the divine entity, Yahuah, is said to have made white skin genetic. But what does this forever mean? Is it possible that this forever continues even now? As we journey through the annals of biblical history, we find that from Adam up to Naaman, a span of about 4,400 years, mankind was dark-skinned. The scriptures do not record any instance of white skin except as a sign of a plague or curse. For instance, let's reflect on Moses at the burning bush. Yahuah changed Moses' hand to white as a sign, proving to the Egyptians and the Israelites that he had indeed appeared to him. This is recorded in Exodus chapter 4, verses 6 and 7. Then there's Leviticus chapter 13, where Yahuah provides Moses and Aaron with specific instructions on how to diagnose and handle cases of leprosy. The scripture mentions a rising, a scab, or a bright spot on the skin, which were signs of the dreaded disease. It is within these contexts that we revisit the curious case of Gehazi. His transformation into a leper with white skin was not merely a physical affliction. It was a divine punishment for his sins, a mark of his transgressions. So, here we have Gehazi, once a dark-skinned man, now a leper as white as snow, a punishment for his sins. Did you know that the first recorded instance of skin color change in the scriptures is associated with leprosy? This intriguing fact opens up a fascinating exploration of the connection between leprosy and white skin in biblical times. Let's journey back to the book of Exodus, specifically chapter 4, verses 6 and 7. Here we find Moses at the burning bush where Yahuah gives him a sign to prove his presence. Yahuah instructs Moses to place his hand into his bosom, and when he pulls it out, it's leprous, as white as snow. But when Moses places his hand back into his bosom and removes it once again, it returns to its original color. This is the first time we see a change in skin color mentioned in the scriptures, and it's linked directly to leprosy. Fast forward to the book of Leviticus, chapter 13. Here we get a detailed description of the leprosy plague. The scripture speaks of a man with a rising, a scab, or a bright spot on his skin, which could be a sign of leprosy. Interestingly, if the plague is somewhat dark and doesn't spread, the priest pronounces the man clean.
Okay, so you'll see that if this rise in the skin and the flesh is considered darker, right, almost matching the melanin, then it's not considered unclean, okay? Or that person is not considered unclean with leprosy. What the priest, so you got the Levitical priesthood, okay? So you got the priests, the sons of Aaron, okay? They were the ones that you took someone to if you notice any white blotches on the skin, white marks on the flesh or anything of that nature. They would examine it. And if they saw any bit of white, then they would probably consider you unclean. But if you have like a darker spot, they would not consider that to be the same thing as leprosy. Okay. And as we looked in the Torah, it also told us about how sometimes when a person became ripe with leprosy, they would start to have like, white, their hair would turn white or turn yellowish or anything of that nature. But one of the main determining factors, whether you had leprosy or not, was they were looking for any white marks or gashes or white speckles in your skin. Okay. That was like the common denominator that the Levitical priesthood was looking for when they would examine Israelites to make sure that they're clean. And this is another reason why I told y'all about this mixing stuff and all of these other things. Y'all gotta understand everything. Let me come on the screen real quick and tell y'all this. Everything Yahuah gave us in Torah, everything he gave our people, our forefathers, our ancestors, was for our benefit. I can't say that enough to you, okay? He would have us separate from lepers. Why? Because that ish was contagious. Okay? This is why Yahuah works and he deals with the clean and not the unclean. Okay? There's a reason why Yahuah has created this order for us to follow for our benefit as Israelite men and women and children. Most High loved us. He would never, ever give us laws that would harm us, but to work to our benefit and for our betterment and for our health. For real. Just saying. All right, we're gonna finish this up because this video is almost done. We got a lot more to jump into, so we're gonna close this out in a minute.
However, if the leprosy covers all his flesh and turns it white, the priest also pronounces him clean. Now, what's noteworthy here is the stark contrast these scriptures paint to the world before these instances. From the time of Adam up until Naaman, a span of approximately 4,400 years, all of humanity was dark-skinned. Prior to these scriptures, there's no mention of white skin unless it's associated with a plague. So it's clear that the scriptures paint a picture of a world where dark skin was the norm and white skin linked with leprosy was an anomaly. This significant shift in skin color connotations adds a layer of depth to our understanding of these biblical texts. From Moses to Leviticus, it's clear that white skin was associated with leprosy, a significant shift from the previous norm. Remember when Miriam became leprous and her skin turned as white as snow? This was a pivotal moment in the book of Numbers, chapter 12, verses 10 to 12. Miriam, the sister of Aaron and Moses, had her skin transformed dramatically as a consequence of her leprosy. Now let's delve into Aaron's plea in verses 11 and 12 of the same chapter. Aaron beseeches, "Let her not be as one dead. an intriguing statement which suggests that being devoid of melanin or having white skin was akin to being half consumed or dead.
Wow. Do y'all hear this? And that's why I say you have to look at these nuances in the scriptures, right? When Moses saw his sister Miriam, a black woman, right, that had been, turned white with leprosy, he likened her to appearing as if she was undead because she became so pale, or actually being dead. Salaki, that's what I meant to say. She was the biblical Israelites, they considered white skin to make you either one, unclean, a descendant of the fallen, because obviously the Nephilim were white. I told you guys about that. But also the fact that you looked as if you were dead. Family, this is what they are not teaching you about this pagan religion called Christianity, which is built on sour cream supremacy, right? But now when we look at the biblical text and we look at all of these things, that's why I was a little passionate earlier, because these heathens just ain't, they just don't get it, right? Which, I understand. But white, the more pale you were, the more there was about you that made the Israelites not want to deal with you. It always gave them a reason to be concerned when they saw someone that was pale or white or anything of that nature. Okay. Now, also, when you factor in that our people had become familiar with, being around melanated individuals, they would see somebody who was white or pale skinned, they would automatically assume you're leprous. So they wouldn't even be around you. They wouldn't even talk to you. Imagine if these Caucasian, that's what I'm saying. It destroys white Jesus. It destroys white Jews. It destroys all of that. You can't even apply what we're looking at right now to them Caucasoid Edomites that claim to be the chosen. You can't. And we're talking about Torah right now. Ask any Ashkenazi, any Amalekite that you come across. Tell them to explain leprosy in the Bible. Okay, they're not going to be able to do that. They're going to be stubborn over their Yiddish, heathen Hebrew trying to explain. I wonder if Yahudi says, I wonder if the fallen angels were pale skinned. No, sis, I don't believe they were, because remember, let me say this to you. When the fallen Malachim came down to those black women on earth, because we know the original inhabitants of this earth were melanated, they had to have presented themselves as black men. Okay, they had to have. There's no way they came to them as white people. Them black women would have been like, ugh, what is this? They would have been just as disgusted as, Lamech was when he saw Noah was albino with pale skin, but Negro nonetheless, right? So these Malachim, because we know Malachim, we know angels can shapeshift. We know this, right? But they would have had to present themselves to the daughters of men as black men, okay? In order for them to be able to, take them and have marriages with them and stuff like that, and defile themselves with these women. And these women, had they known they were angels, they would not have done it. But they transformed in the same way that when you look at Sodom and Gomorrah and those black men who were angels who also came as black men, because remember, we had no Caucasians at this time. Okay, so if we're talking about Abraham, we're talking about his I believe Lot was his nephew, right? So we're talking about bloodline Shemites here. Okay, in that land, there probably would have been black people over there too. The homosexuals that surrounded Lot's house to go after those angels. So these Malachim, oftentimes, when they were presented as men, they would present themselves as black men. I mean, unless they would have been like, they told the people, do not be afraid, right? So they would have probably come in their more pure form, their angelic form. But when they came on the earth and presented themselves as men, they would present themselves as black men. I actually read Zechariah not too long ago, and I did see example of a female angel. So I'm going to have to look at it in the Septuagint. I was looking at it in the Masoretic, but I'm going to look at it in the Septuagint. But there is proof of that in the Zechariah. Only instance I've seen, other than the Shepherd of Hermas, which mentions a female angel too. But I haven't seen too much examples of that. The scriptures, Lorraine says, the scriptures is clear that Israel and Judah will not wax pale. Exactly. That's another thing to think about. We won't wax pale. Again, that's a bad thing. When you look at this from a biblical understanding, from what we know about Torah, what we know about Yahuah, what we know about Yahusha, what we know about where the true land is, right, in the continent, you can't really apply Christianity or their understanding of the scriptures at all, which really goes to show you they don't read the Bible. There's a reason why your pagan pastor told you not to read the First Covenant or what the Gentiles call the Old Testament. There's just too much information in there pointing to who these people are that are Yahuwah's people. But now we know. And it's like in this time, more information is coming out and we're starting to put more pieces together. And from what I can see, give me a 1, family. The more you dig into this, the more it substantiates. There's no such thing as white Israelites, a white Yahuah, a white JC, or any of that. The more I look into this, the more it's substantiated that there is no chance under the dome anybody in this Bible was white, except for the Romans and, you know, the Nephilim and stuff like that, the Horites and stuff like that. But I'm talking about when we talking about the main characters of the Bible, Yahuwah's people. The more you read, the more you study, the more you look at, you realize there ain't a chance in hell Yahuwah was dealing with Caucasians at all, bro. The more you look, and that's why I keep on telling y'all, family, I keep on telling y'all, they are not basing their ideas and their way of thinking in reality. They are basing it in delusion, okay? They are being completely nonsensical when they're trying to sit there and say, oh, well, Jesus was white, and, you know, the Israelites are white, and, you know, we're the Anglo-Saxons, we're really the Adamic race. Y'all ain't nothing, bro. All right, family, we're going to keep it going. This is almost over, and we're going to jump into this next thing because I want to show y'all some information to support what we looked at in this video thus far. All praises. Let's keep going, fam.
Isn't that fascinating? It's an indication that the Israelites, who we can infer were a people of color, perceived an absence of melanin as a state comparable to death. So, the Israelites, a people of color, viewed the absence of melanin as a state similar to death, a stark contrast to their usual dark skin. Aaron said, let her not be as one dead. That means void of melanin, whom the flesh is half consumed. Half consumed means void of melanin, like a baby's skin that was just born from his mother's womb. This just proved that the Israelites were a people of color, particularly Negro, because when some Negroes are born, they are born pale and void of melanin. As they get older, the more their melanin kicks in. This explains why the scripture says, like a baby's skin that was just born from his mother's womb, indicating that the newborn baby was void of melanin. We hope that you enjoyed this video.
All praises to the Most High. Wow. So, according to our forefathers, a person being devoid of melanin not just made them look unclean, but it was almost tantamount with death. Wow. That's why Moses was begging Yahuwah, please change my sister back to her normal color. Please do this. Please. He was begging Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? And Yahuwah had to tell him, you're going to set her aside for 7 days, and then she can come back and she'll be back to her complexion. Okay? He was begging Yahuwah to take this leprosy off of his sister because he was scared. The more we understand, family, the more we look at this, the more we can understand the full truth of everything that we have been told is a straight up lie. Straight up lie by Sour Cream Supremacy. Rosal says, can you do a lesson on albino people? Thank you. Maybe at some point, possibly, sis. I don't want to make any promises, though. I try to keep it as close to the scriptures as possible. Word of Truth Kingdom Ministries in the building. What's up, Ak? If a black person has a deficiency in their skin, lighter spots, would it be the curse of leprosy in every situation? Parentheses, Lorna. So, according to the Torah, if a person has speckles or spots, that would be what I would think of would be considered leprosy. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. I showed this yesterday, but I'll just show you again just in case you guys might be wondering what I'm talking about specifically. So give me 1 second, family. Let me pull up this window here, and I'm going to just show you what I'm talking about. If they have speckles or spots, that could be what one would consider leprosy. Something like this, okay? Like, so if you look at this person, you can see the speckles, right? Where they're starting to turn basically white. This, in a sense, would be considered unclean, okay? This is unclean. This is unclean, okay? This is unclean. This is unclean. This is definitely unclean, okay? Now, this right here is also unclean, okay? If you have those speckles or spots, that would be a symptom of what you would call leprosy. Again, vitiligo is just a cover-up for what is biblical leprosy, okay? And this right here would be considered, you know, this individual, if he was amongst our forefathers, and, you know, amongst the Levites, and if I took him to the Levites and said, yo, I don't know what's going on with Aki, but Ak is breaking out really, really bad, and I took him to the priesthood, then they would examine his whole body, and they would be all like, okay, you're unclean. We're going to separate you in the tents for 7 days, and we're going to try to, you know, see if we can fix this. If not, he's to continue to stay away from us, because this stuff is contagious. Now, I don't understand, Aki, the particulars of your wife in regards to this, but if you're talking about something of this nature, this will be considered unclean. This would be considered biblical leprosy. So I don't want to tell you that that's what we're looking at here, according to your wife, but it's definitely a possibility. But I don't want to say that it is, because I'm just not sure. You know what I'm saying? Tanya says it's so frustrating that our ancestors did not listen and wanted to befriend these people, and still are wanting the same thing today after all the evil, hateful things they've done. Right, right. And look how much they've covered up, family. The whole time they portrayed themselves as the good, the hero and the heroine, but in actuality, they've been nothing but the villain. All right, family, we're gonna keep this going because we got a lot more to get into. Okay, so let me close some of these windows here. I'm glad the stream is running pretty smooth today. Okay, so let me show you this next thing here, all right? And this is going to echo some of what we've been looking at from the first episode, okay? So this is an article from ThoughtCo. Actually, I read this article in the last episode, how genetic mutation led to the white race. And I told you guys that, you know, white skin is essentially what would be considered a genetic mutation. So let's look at this. This is from the browser. And I pulled up this thing right here. It talks about recessive Caucasian genes, okay? And we're going to just read a little bit more about this to get a better understanding. So it says, based on the provided search results, let me make sure I'm sharing my screen here. Yep, okay, all praises. Please hit the like button, family, if you haven't already. I appreciate you guys. Based on the provided search result, it's essential to clarify that there are no distinct white genes or Caucasian genes. Instead, skin color is determined by multiple genes interacting with each other. Here's a summary of the key findings. Genetic mutation leading to white skin. A recent study discovered a genetic mutation that contributed to the development of white skin in humans, specifically in populations that migrated out of Africa. Remember, chew out the meat and spit out the bones, 20,000 to 50,000 years ago. This mutation involved a single letter change in the DNA code affecting the production of melanin. Dominance and recessiveness. In the context of skin pigmentation, darker skin is generally considered dominant over lighter skin. However, the study mentioned earlier suggests that the light skin LLL, or the white variant, can be recessive to darker skin LLLs in certain situations than the mixed race individual. And this is why I tell y'all not to do this. Let's keep going. When it comes to mixed race individuals, such as those with African and European ancestry, their genetic makeup can be complex. The presence of pigment, darker skin, can dominate the absence of pigment, lighter skin, making it unusual for someone with 50% African and 50% European ancestry to have white skin, as seen in Shirley's case. And I'm not sure what Shirley they're talking about. And then also it says pigmentation as a continuous trait. Recent advances in genetic research have allowed scientists to view pigmentation as a continuous trait rather than a binary white or non-white characteristic. This perspective enables a more nuanced understanding of dominance and recessiveness in skin color. So the Negro has dominant genes, okay? The European has recessive genes. Okay, so there is definitely a significant difference when you think about gene pool here. Kesu is here. Shalom, Ak. All praises to the Most High. Somebody asked a question. Queen Raya's here. Hey, sis. The sad part is half the world will never find out what has been done to us. Right. And it's not like the information is not there, sis. They just don't want to hear it. Brian says, my wife is so upset with our ancestors. I've gotten to a point where I felt a way about our forefathers for what they've done to Yahuah, because it's righteous anger, right? I believe righteous anger has a place, right, when it comes to Yahuah. But at the same time, we can't continue to blame them, right? Because now that we know the truth, it's up to us to walk in this truth and do according to Yahuah's will. Now that we've learned from our ancestors, right? We cannot continue to blame them, right? We can blame them because what we're going through is because of them Negroes, right? But now that we know better, we have to do better and be a better example than our rebellious, stiff-necked, hard-headed, you know what I'm saying, trifling ancestors. We got to just do better, family. If you're not sure, you shouldn't speak it. What are you talking about? Are you talking about me? Or are you talking to somebody in the chat? I know you're not talking to me. I'm just saying. You better be careful about how you're coming to me, dog. I'm very well researched. And I know you probably new here and maybe you just speculating. But just understand, fam, I'm not the one to talk about. If you don't know what you're talking about, don't speak on it. Everything I do here is full on research. Okay, he's gone. You got him? Okay. All right, let's keep it going. All right, family. So next thing we're going to look at is another video about Asian man, okay? Talking about these Caucasians.
Well, if you make the assumption that the human race arose like around the equator and that skin color, dark skin color would be the phenotype, then are you assuming that as people moved outward, there was a mutation, and if you were in the north, it allowed that mutation to live, which is how we got white people?
Yes.
Would that follow?
Yeah. If Nina Jablonski, who spoke in another one of your things, explained this, and she played a role in studying the reason for dark skin, which is if you have lots of intense sunlight, it destroys folic acid, and it turns out folic acid is really important for babies to develop properly, so it's not too good for a population for the babies to not develop properly. So that's why dark skin. Now, as you move north, there's another essential vitamin called vitamin D.
Okay, Kesu, Noah was not white, bro. He was albino. That's why it says he had hair like wool, just as Yahusha is described, just as Yahuah is described, just like our people are described. Noah was not white. I know it says white like snow, but remember, Miriam was turned white like snow, okay? But she was still obviously a Negro. It does not say he's Caucasian. It does not say he has straight hair. It said he had hair like wool. Go reread the text. He was an albino.
D, there's an intermediate, biochemical intermediate that needs to be then converted by the liver, but that intermediate's formed by UV light going through the skin. If you're near the equator and you have a dark skin, it still gets through enough to get your vitamin D. But now if you go north and it's cold and you wrap up and it's less sun because the sun's coming at an angle now, you will get rickets and have other problems supposedly. So that's thought to be the reason for selection for lighter skin.
Okay, so it's another witness. So Tanya says, how does this affect those of us that have European DNA due to slavery and choosing to mix? I don't understand why anybody would choose to mix after what is being revealed today. But to those of us that are descendants of slaves, slave women that might have been violated by these colonizers, remember, Yahusha said that we will all be changed, okay, in the twinkling of an eye. So we're all going to get perfect, incorruptible bodies that are not going to have any of that colonizer blood in us, period. And I also believe that by the time we get into the wilderness and Yahuah starts putting Israelites with Israelites and we detach from these other nations, and the nations, you know, the Gentiles with us, they marry Gentiles and Negroes with Negroes. I believe that there's going to be something miraculous that takes place that will probably fix that. But again, remember, we're going to enter into the 1,000-year millennial reign with Yahusha, and it says that our bodies will be changed. Okay, so this blood that's in us right now, it does have importance because we are the bloodline of Shem, right? We are the seed of Abraham. But once we are back with Yahuah, he knows who his children are. And when we see those perfect, incorruptible bodies, what the white man did because of these curses and all these things that Yahuah has brought upon us due to our ancestors' disobedience will no longer have a bearing. So I wouldn't worry about that. But I will say, don't mix. Do not mix. And I'm not saying you're doing it, but it just doesn't make sense. If we got colonizer in our blood, I don't understand why under the dome you would continue to allow that colonizer in your blood. That's just insane to me. But yeah, I would not mix. I don't think that's a good idea. I think that's a bad idea. I think that's counterproductive to Yahuwah's cause. Ashia said the Most High knew that handing bags of grapes would happen. In the text, it says he will cleanse their blood. Well, I did believe that at one point, but when I looked at Joel chapter 3 in the Septuagint, it doesn't say anything about cleansing blood. I'm not saying that we ain't going to be, made complete through Yahuwah Yahusha. I'm just saying that that was added in by the Mazarites. But again, when you factor in, we will all get perfect, immortal, incorruptible bodies. Blood, the Bible says flesh and blood shall not enter the kingdom. Obviously, we will be flesh, but we will have an incorruptible body. So the colonizer's blood won't even exist in us anymore. That's what I'm saying. So I think that the concept of him cleansing our blood, I'm not saying that that's not applicable. I'm just saying the original text didn't say that. So if you look at Joel chapter 3, verse 21, what it says in the Septuagint is, and I will make inquisition for their blood, and will by no means leave it unavenged, and Yahuwah shall dwell in Zion. Okay? So it does say here, I'm looking at the Septuagint. I can show you guys right now if you want to see it. I'll show you the KJV, and I'll show you, because, here on this channel, we've been using, we use the Septuagint versus the Masoretic text, because I've been doing an episode series on how they added in a lot of stuff, removed a lot of stuff from the scriptures. But Joel chapter 3, verse 21, which should talk about the whole cleansing of blood thing, it actually says that he will avenge our blood. He'll make inquisition and by no means leave our blood unavenged. So, yeah. Micah says, no, both of the verses and other words go together. That's what he's saying. Right. I'm just trying to basically say that I'm not saying that we're not going to become, we're going to become new creations anyway and get a whole new body. And the blood that we have here on earth, we're not going to even bleed. Right? You think about Malachim can't bleed. Okay? So when we get those perfect, incorruptible bodies, immortal bodies, we won't even have blood in us anymore. So that's the thing. All right, fam, let's keep it going. So you all saw that video from this Asian guy also talking about this genetic mutation. All right, I'm going to show you this next video. Actually, hold on a minute. All right, I'm going to save this one for later. All right, I'm going to upload this next video that I have right here in my on my hard drive. Give me a second, family. I'm going to bring this up for you guys. So this is this white man talking about, just gay. I almost couldn't even watch the video, bro. It's like these overly feminine, men. It's just hard. It's cringe to me to watch this stuff. But this is a white man, a Caucasian, talking about, I've got Neanderthal in me. He seems very excited about having this in his DNA test. But take a look. Let me load it up for y'all. Here we go.
DNA on Earth is increasing. Many people, including me, white ones, have up to 4% of our DNA that can be traced back to Neanderthals. And since the human population has now passed 8 million people, statistically there is more Neanderthal DNA from people like me who got it in me right now on Earth, because there's so many of us, than there was when Neanderthals actually existed, because their populations were so small. No one knows exactly why Neanderthals died out, but by studying their remains, they found that the males had very compact, muscular bodies. They would wear really interesting clothes, wear jewelry, even put flowers down for their dead. So I think that maybe Neanderthals died out because all the males were, gay.
Oh my gosh, I can't stand these homos, bro. I don't care if you black homo, white homo, just that overly feminine spirit, cuz it's just not, boy. Yeah, and my pastor Darby, they all gay. They all gay. You there? You there? They all gay. Cube Terry says, man, this dude eats Fruit Loops. Homie, he done had about 4 or 5 bowls waking up. He was born with Fruit Loops in his mouth. Facts. Okay, let's keep going. All right, family, let's look at this. So this is another article about the Neanderthals and the Caucasians. They're the ones that interbred with these people. Because, I mean, I don't think it's so much that they interbred. I just think they're descendants of them. The Neanderthals, let me tell y'all something, family. The Neanderthals never went extinct, family. They never went extinct, okay? They just rebranded themselves as Caucasian, okay? So they are what you think of as Yeti or Bigfoot or whatever you want to call it. So let's look at this. Neanderthals, interbreeding, and the Nephilim. Let me scroll in a little bit more. Okay. He says, so this is the person saying, I think you had a question about this post. Do you want to ask it here? You say, yes, I did. This is my discussion. I wondered for a while now if anyone had any connection between Neanderthal, human interbreeding, and the Nephilim of Genesis 6. Your description of that latest version of the RTB model sounds strikingly similar to that passage. Okay, you know what? This is somebody's opinion. I don't know if I want to go off of that. Okay, yeah, we gonna just skip all of this. Okay, I don't think this is really necessary. I just want to show you guys conclusive research. So we'll skip past that. Okay, so let's look at this. This is another AI breakdown. It says a study simulated the introgression of partially recessive Neanderthal mutations into a population and found that they behaved more like additive mutations than recessive mutations. This suggests that Neanderthal ancestry will decline over time, or so they say. Or so they say. All right, now let me show you guys some actual Smithsonian research. We're going to start with this one first. All right, so this says ancient DNA and Neanderthals. Okay, it says Homo neanderthalis, adult male. DNA is arguably one of the most useful tools that scientists can use to determine living organisms. Our genetic code can tell us a lot about who we are, where we come from, and even what diseases we may be predisposed to contracting and acquiring. When studying evolution, DNA is specifically important in its application to identifying and separating organisms into a species. However, DNA is a fragile molecule and it degrades over time. For most fossil species, there is essentially no hope of ever acquiring DNA from their fossils, so answers to questions about their appearance, physiology, population structure, and there may have never been fully answerable. For more recently extinct species, scientists have and continue to extract ancient DNA, which they use to reconstruct the genome of long-gone ancestors and relatives. One such species is the Neanderthal. Okay, so I'm going to just skip here a little further because as I've shown you guys plenty of times, the only people who have been shown not to have this gene is people from the continent. We are the most purest humans. Now, obviously, because of slavery, that changed, okay? Unfortunately, all right? But the majority of people with this are either Caucasian or Asian, okay? And you even got some of these Native Americans that got it too, okay? Let's keep reading. Neanderthals were the first species of fossil hominins discovered and have secured their place in our collective imagination ever since. The first Neanderthal fossil were found in Angus, Belgium in 1829, but not identified as belonging to Neanderthals until almost 100 years later. The first fossils to be called Neanderthals were found in 1856, where in Germany? At a site in the Neander Valley. The Neander Valley. Huh. Now, y'all remember when I showed you the Esau and the Horites documentary, we talked about Germany. And even in my Esau Amalek documentary, we also talked about how Germany had plenty of Edomites. Okay? We know that the Pharisees who became, or the Edomites who were converted by John Hyrcanus during the Maccabean revolt, ended up fleeing into the Caucasus Mountains. And we found that the German people were connected to these ancient Horites that were dwelling in Mount Seir. Okay, so we did a lot of dot connecting with this. I forgot they stopped dragging their knuckles. That's hilarious. Shout out to you, sis. All praises to the Most High. All right, so let's keep reading. I just find it interesting that in Germany they have a place called Neander Valley. Okay, remember, I'm just letting you see it for yourself. Okay, we might look at this location, Neander Valley in Germany, because I'm interested to see what it looked like and if it's a mountainous region. Okay, let's keep going. Where Neanderthals get their name from, Neander Valley. Okay, you know what, family? I am curious. Let's look this up. Let's look it up. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull it up here. Neander Valley in Germany. Oh boy. Yeah, this looks like their natural habitat right here. I mean, hold on, wait. Let me go back. I saw like woods and forests and stuff like that. Now, if you look at the Esau and the Horites documentary, we also talked about, you know, how they used to frolic in the forest. They used to run on all fours. You know, and shout out to the sister that I talked about. They was dragging their knuckles. Before they was dragging their knuckles, they was crouching on all fours, frolicking with the animals in the forest. So I find this. Now look at this. You see this cave right here, family. Do you see this cave? Okay. So this was a mountainous region that had caves and forest. Their natural habitat, family. Okay, we just connected some dots. Here. All right, but they had, look at that, a Neanderthal. All right, and you can see there's a cave right here. All right, you got another cave right here, the original Neanderthal skeleton found in Germany, family. Okay, this is not just Yexer's opinion, family. This is a lot of stuff to back this up. Okay, let's keep going. What else we got here? Let's keep going. These are some of the Neanderthal skeletons right here. Let's see what else we got. You know what? Let's go to Wikipedia so we can read more about this area. Neanderthal Valley. Let's look up caves and see what we can get from that. Oh yeah, look at this. Cave walls. Oh yeah, they was right at home. I'm telling you, man, these Horites was getting it popping in them caves, gang. Let me stop. Teo Ministry says this makes sense. Our enemies are Germans, whether British, Ashkenaz, all Germans. 100% Aki. And I'm gonna be shout out to you, Ak. I'm gonna be doing a video on the Black Holocaust, because there's a lot to understand in that as well. Look at this. More caves. Okay, so y'all see how this is all coming together. All right. And I have to probably do another study looking deeper into this, looking at these bones, because I'm wondering, you know, they talk about the red-haired giants, and you know, there are a lot of Germans, especially the Ashkenazi, that have red hair. Okay. And we know that the giants are described as red hair by many different peoples and nations that came across them 100%. So there's definitely some things that really fit into place here. But you will never find a dark-skinned, melanated Neanderthal. And here you can see another example of a cave here. Okay, these cave cities. We already know about Edom. We know about Petra, which was the biblical Edom. Boy, this is deep, y'all. Wow. So now let me ask y'all something. How many of y'all know that the original Aryan race were black people? Give me a 1 if you knew that. Give me a 2 if you did not know this. The original Aryan race were black people, family. They were not Caucasians. They weren't. They were originally Negroid people. Okay? I'm serious. Let me see if I can find, you know, and I'm going to have to probably do a little more research so I can pull it out and show the evidence. But the Aryan race being a white thing is false. Okay? The original Aryans were black. All right? Just like we know that the Moors, who many of them were Israelites, by the way, that ruled over Europe for over 700 years, before there was a Hitler, before there was Nazis and all of this other stuff, they would have been considered the original Europeans, Negroes, black people. So I'm gonna probably have to, I don't have it prepared right now, and I don't want to come here unprepared or nothing. Y'all know I like to put it all together. So I'll do a teaching on that. Matter of fact, let me write it down, family. Let me write it down. Give me 1 second, fam. Gotta talk about the black Aryans. Black Aryans. Okay. Because just like they stole everything else from us, they also stole that term Aryan race from us as well. And I got proof. I got receipts. I got books. I got a lot of stuff that I can show y'all. Okay, a lot of people said they didn't know this. Okay, but Tali Shaya, hey sis, how are you? All praise to the Most High. She knew this. Queen Raya knows. Idia Maccabees didn't know. Tanya didn't know. Caves are Mount Seir also. Yeah, they are. They were cave cities. Let me. I'll show you. I'll show you biblical Edom. So if you go to, all you gotta do is go on Google and type in Petra, sis, and this would be Edom right here. This is biblical Edom. Let me show you. Right here. Biblical Edom. Cave cities. And when you can actually, and you see it's inside like a mountain, a mountainous area. And now it's, dang, man, the police, I hope y'all can't hear them sirens. Let me close the window. Hold on a second. I don't know what's going on out here, but give me a second. Let me close this window. This thing is loud. Sheesh. My bad. All right. So if you look at this family, you can see like now it's basically like a tourist destination where anybody could just go into these caves and look at them. Okay. But again, when we connect this to the Europeans, okay, as I've shown plenty of times, all right, you see this architecture here. Now look at ancient Greece. Just remember these pillars and stuff like that. All right. Matter of fact, let me duplicate. I'm just going to switch back and forth so y'all can connect the dots with this. Okay, now look at Greece. Look at that architecture. Look at these pillars. These are the same people, family. They are the same individuals. Look at those pillars. Same thing. Now, let's look at the White House. White House. Same architecture. Built by Negro slaves. Same thing. Washington, D.C., boom. Look at them pillars. Just like Edom. Okay, Esau is the end of the world, as the Bible says, and you can see they are all around you. All around you. Your presidents, Edomites, you know what I'm saying? People in these high positions, people in the courts, Supremacy, bloodline. It's all over, family. All right? But I don't want to get too sidetracked, family. That was just a side note, but I just wanted to show you that. So we're going to keep this moving, okay? All right. So we're going to jump over here to this. Back to this Smithsonian article, and we're gonna look a little bit deeper at this this Neander Valley thing when we get an opportunity. All right. So where Neanderthals get their name from? Neanderthals diverged from modern humans around 500,000 years ago, likely evolving outside of Africa. As we said, remember the purest humans are the African Israelites and the Hamite individuals. Okay, that would be in the continent. All right. Most ancestors of Homo sapiens remaining in Africa until about 100,000 years ago. Chew up the meat, spit out the bones when you see these big numbers. When modern humans begin migrating outwards in that time, Neanderthals evolved many unique adaptations that helped them survive in cold environments of Europe and Asia. Their short limbs and torso help conserve heat, and their wide noses help warm and humidify air as they breathe it in. Despite these differences, modern humans and Neanderthals are very closely related and look similar. We even overlapped with each other, living in the same place at roughly the same time in both the Middle East and Europe. If this is the case, why did Neanderthals go extinct? Why? Well, we know they didn't go extinct. All right. We know they did not go extinct. Okay. Let's keep it going. I got a few more videos I want to show you guys here. Now, let's look at these people that dwelt up in the Caucasus. Okay, so you got the Slavic people, the Russians, the Ukrainians. Now, what I find so interesting is that the modern day Ukraine is actually ancient Khazaria. They will not tell you that, but there's a reason why they're funneling so much money over there. That is Khazaria, okay? That is biblical Khazaria, which is right next to the mountains. And you find a lot of these Amalekites fleeing back into Khazaria, or what they call Ukraine. So you got Russians, Ukrainians, Indo-Europeans, the Kurds, the Talish, the Tats, the Greeks, the Gypsies, Indo-European groups, Turkic people, okay? The Turkic people, when you think about the Ottoman Empire, you think of the Palestinians of today, okay? Those are obviously Turkic Mongols, okay? That colonized Palestine, which was inhabited by descendants of Ishmael and dark-skinned Palestinian, you know what I'm saying, individuals, right? Shemitic, dark-skinned Palestinian individuals that were conquered by the Ottoman Empire, which are Turkic people. It's the same thing when you think about the Egyptians, the modern-day white-skinned Egyptians. They are also Turkic Mongols, okay? The Kemek, the Nogai, the Karakwe, the Balkar, the Cardavellian, where the Georgian is the most important Caucasian language and belongs to the Kartvelian family. And we're going to look at some of these Caucasian peoples, these Caucasus Mountain dwelling people, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, we'll look at that in a minute. The Caucasus is a cultural crossroad that has been influenced by many empires, including the Ottomans, Iranians, and Russians. The region has more dialects and languages than any other comparable size, and the people identify with 4 main religions. And guess what those are? Mostly Christianity and all this other stuff, Islam, all of that. So look at these people here, all right? Europeans, Caucasus-dwelling individuals here, okay? Now, some of these people would be what you would consider Basque people, okay? And the Basque people, if you watch my Esau no Horites documentary, we talked about the Basque people that have this like fallen bloodline. And there's actually an area in Spain. Isn't that interesting? Spain, right? And Spain is the same place where you find a fallen angel depiction of Lucifer, okay? Lucifer and the fallen angels. And I'm going to show you that in a second. Spain, where our people were, right? The Yahudim that fled into the Portuguese Jews, the Portuguese black Jews, right? The Yahudim that fled in there after 70 AD, and they were expelled by the Spanish in 1492, right? And then they fled into the west coast of Africa, and then they were brought into the Americas and shipped across the 4 corners of the earth to the European transatlantic slave trade. But some of these individuals be what you would consider Basque. But if you notice, right? This is Turkic right here, okay? Now notice how they look like what you think of when you think of what they call Palestinians, okay? This is what these people are. They are from the Caucasus Mountains, and they came and they conquered Palestine. Now, like I said, I don't believe that Israel is the true land or nothing like that, but those areas and lands were originally inhabited by dark-skinned Palestinian people, okay? But yeah, these are just Caucasus Mountain dwelling people, and you can see these white people, these white individuals here. You can see the Caucasus Mountains in the back behind them. These people literally lived in caves, family. They literally did. Okay. Right here, you can always see the mountains behind them. They used to do these weird, like heathen rituals and stuff like that. All right. Now, let me show you this next thing. So, family, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you this next thing since we're talking about Spain and we're talking about Spain and Portugal and all that, where our people were at one point during 70 AD. Family, please hit the like button. I really appreciate it. Happy Halloween. We don't celebrate that over here, okay? So if you come with that again, moderators, get them out of here. We don't do paganism. We're not like these heathens you were just looking at. So let me show y'all this next thing. Since we talking about Spain and Portugal, I think it's important I show y'all this. Now, keep in mind, family, one of the most preserved areas of these fallen bloodline people, which are the Basque people, is in Spain, okay? But obviously they've been migrating in different places. Now, take a look at this, family. This is in Spain, okay? This is Madrid, Spain. And this is called the Fountain of the Fallen Angel. And what do you see in Europe? The fallen angel with a snake wrapped around his legs. You think that's a coincidence? It's in Europe. It's in Spain, where you find this fallen seed. And like I said, the Horite seed and the serpent seeds been spread all over the world. It's in the Ashkenazi. It's in the Romans. It's in many Europeans. But you also got it in some Negroes because of mixing, because of slavery, because a lot of things like that. Okay. But I just find it interesting that you got a statue of a fallen angel in the same area where you find the highest concentration of Rh negative bloodline people, which are the Basque people, which come from the Caucasus. So it says unique bragging rights for having what is commonly acknowledged as the only public monument to the devil himself. Now, didn't Hashatan say that he gonna dwell in the lands of the north? And people got the word to get mad. You got the nerve to get mad at me because I'll be saying a white man's the devil. But yet it's the white man that built an altar to Zeus, built an altar to Satan in Spain. Let's keep reading. Located in the garden. Let's keep reading. Located in the gardens of the expansive Parque del Buen Retiro, this statue is 666 meters above sea level. There it is, right in your face. Look at that, family. Wow. And you look at this, fountain right here, you see these demons. Let me see if I can show y'all some better images of it. Okay, so this is obviously Hashatan, or an example of the fallen angel who is Hashatan, right? You can see him right there. And if you look here at the bottom, you see these demons, these hybrid demonic beak-nosed deities. Oh, Father, 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 help us all. Wow. It's just right in your face, family. Right in your face. It says this statue is 666 meters above sea level. The fallen angel, Angel Kaido, is set atop a marble pillar in the midst of a fountain decorated with sinister demonic entities and some rather miscast reptiles. Lucifer is depicted at the moment he is cast out of heaven as inspired by a passage in John Milton's Paradise Lost. Wow. Sculptor Ricardo Belver cast a statue in bronze for the Third World's Fair in Paris, after which point the piece was acquired by Museo del Prado. The statue was later donated to the city of Madrid and inaugurated at its current location in 1885. The statue is renowned equally for its discordant subject matter, as well as Belver's ability to imbue a sense of tension and anguish in his rendering of Satan. Wow. Well, I don't know about y'all, family, but that tells me everything I need to know. I mean, a lot of things I've been showing y'all, a lot of things I've been talking about on this channel, it comes full circle when you show these things. We're going to keep it going, though, family, because we got more to look at. I don't want to waste too much time, okay? So I just wanted to show y'all that. It's another bit of a side note, all right? All right, let's keep going. So next thing we're going to look at, let me close that. I've shown y'all that already. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to show you guys a few videos pertaining to these Horites, Neanderthals, whatever you want to call them. So let me just switch over my screen and we're going to look at some more videos that I have here lined up for you. Give me 1 second. All right. Close this out. Okay. All right. We're going to hop over here to Twitter. And this man talks about 2 types of Neanderthal DNA. Let me just rewind this. Look at this hairy white man. Ugh, bro. Ugh, oh my gosh. Okay, here we go, y'all.
I don't know what that video was about, but anyway, did y'all know?
Hey, hold on, let me show y'all what I was talking about. Bro, what is this? The wolf man? What is this? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Woo! Okay, here we go, y'all.
I don't know what that video was about, but anyway, did y'all know that the average European and Asian person has at least 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA? Yep, you heard me right. National Geographic, the Smithsonian, and
like,
Science
hell
Magazine
no.
all agree that European and Asian descendants that are non-African have 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA. And furthermore, the only people group that doesn't have any Neanderthal DNA are the descendants of Africans. So why is it that Asians and Europeans have Neanderthal DNA, and the people that have been treated the least humane and even called non-human have the most human DNA? What could they have been doing to get this Neanderthal DNA? Asian and Europeans have Neanderthal DNA because their ancestors interbred with Neanderthals tens of thousands of years ago. Guess it turns out Fuzzy Wuzzy was a colonizer.
Oh my gosh. Cuz said Fuzzy Wuzzy. Now, y'all remember, family, that I showed you guys this in the documentary Esau and the Horites, right? But Timnah, that hairy Horite, came to. I'm still. It was a Fuzzy Wuzzy for me. I'm still recovering from that right now. My gosh. This hairy Horite woman had came to Jacob and his sons, and she was trying to lay with one of them. They saw her, and they said, "Ugh, get away from us." And then she ended up taking Esau's son. Somebody said there's no sound. No, there's sound. There's definitely sound. I fact checked it, or I made sure that there was. So I'm going to show you guys this scripture real quick, just to remind you, our people did not want anything to do with them people. Okay. Yeah, Esau was like, I got you. So let me show y'all this, man. Timnah the Horite came to Jacob and his sons, and they didn't even want to hear nothing she was talking about. They were like, get away from us. You know what I'm saying? They just was not with it. So I'm going to go, I think that's found in the book of Jasher or Yashar, where she goes to them. And they did not want to deal with her at all. They didn't want nothing to do with her. Let's see. Oh, it's Jasher. Hold on, let me pull it up, fam. I can't remember where in Jasher it is, but Jacob. Timnah the Horites. And Timnah is the same woman. See, here's the thing. It's interesting because Timnah is the one that brought forth Amalek, right? She's the one that brought forth Amalek, and that's who Esau's son took for a wife. Okay, let's go to Jasher 36:27. I'm gonna show y'all this real quick. Jasher 36, and we're gonna go to verse 27 real quick here. Let's look at this. All right, this is the book of Yashar, Jasher, and let's look at it. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more for y'all so y'all can see it a little bit better. All right, here we go. It says, and the children of Lotan were Hori, Haman, and their sister Timnah. That is Timnah, who came to who? Jacob and his sons, and they would not give ear to her. And she went and became a concubine to Eliphaz, the son of Esau, and she bore to him who? Amalek. Okay, this woman was a Horite, so she was probably hairy, hair all messed up, probably stank, probably smelled bad. And then it says, bro, our people would not even give an ear to her. They didn't want to hear nothing she was talking about. They didn't want nothing to do with her. So then she went and she go lay down with Esau's, son Eliphaz. I'm just saying, maybe there's a lesson we can learn from what our people chose not to do. I'm just saying. Okay, let's keep going. Fuzzy Wuzzy. I'm still tripping off of that, bro. All right, fam. Let's look at this next video that I have here prepared. All right. This is another witness about the African being the purest human on earth. Take a look. Let me share this video first.
Okay. Really, this is going to sound silly, but this is really important cutting edge genetics. One of the areas I'm really lucky I'm blessed to work in 3 distinct areas of biology: immunology, genetics, and reproduction. And on the genetics side, I get to go to conferences and hear about advances in genetics in all species. And I was just at one a couple of weeks ago down at the Cold Spring Harbor Lab in Long Island, and I learned a bit about what's being known about the genome of Neanderthals, the genetic makeup of Neanderthals. That the genome sequencers, led by Svante Pabo, who works in Germany, has taken tiny little fragments of Neanderthal bones, isolated DNA, and determined the genome of the Neanderthal, and used that information to determine, using genetic methods, how long ago Neanderthals and humans were a single species, where the common ancestor was. They've also been able to compare human genomes and asked the question of whether there's any evidence of Neanderthal genes in the human genome. And they found that there is. And the amount is quite significant, upwards of 5 to 7%. Neanderthals used to live in.
Okay, so that's the first video, and I'm going to show you the second one here. Let me go to this one.
Neanderthals used to live in the Neander Valley.
That's what we looked at just now.
We called it the Cayuga Lake Basin, but that's where they lived. And out of Africa came the modern humans, and the word the geneticist uses admixed. They admixed with the Neanderthals. And they all used to live in caves in those days like this. Came out of Africa, admixed with the Neanderthals. This was Neanderthal territory. There was another group of Neanderthal-like creatures called the Denisovans. They lived up here in Siberia, and they have their genome has been sequenced. They were distinct from the Neanderthals. And so you can find in people of European and Asian ancestry evidence of about 7%, 5 to 10% of your genome is common with that of Neanderthals. We've been separated from them for 30,000 years or so. And in some of the tribes in Papua New Guinea and those islands out there, there's evidence for a different kind of genome, which is probably the Denisovan genome. And they might have 7% Neanderthal and 5% Denisovan. So they might be 12 or 15% different from us. And in fact, the Africans who came out from Africa have no evidence of any Neanderthal genes in them. No evidence of admixture. So they're the real pure humans. Homo sapiens.
And this is why I say to y'all, when people be all like, you know, these FBA Negroes and you know, those that hate, you know, anybody that's not claiming to be so-called indigenous to America, y'all can have that, bro. Telling me that I look African, I'm an African Israelite, that ain't nothing but a flex. That ain't nothing but a flex. Chad, I know what you're doing. You're in here because you troll all the time. And you did the exact same thing last time. How about you go read Romans 8 and ask the Most High to explain it to you? Because you asked me the same question. No flesh and blood shall enter the kingdom. Oh, you butthurt because we talk about your people? Deal with it. Anyway, yeah, I'm not going to even give you the time of day because I remember your name. I remember what you did last time. You asked for explanation. I gave you explanation. All right? You just don't want to hear it because we talking about your people right now. But anyway, calling us African and saying it as if that's a negative thing is not a negative thing, because saying that Negroes are Africans and that we are African Israelites, that is essentially a flex. Facts. That is essentially a flex. Bro, ain't nobody worried about what you're talking about. Family, listen, if y'all want to kick him out, kick him out. But I want him to be here so he can know the truth about them folks, because you know, they always got something to say. They always want to come into Negro spaces and try to tell us, oh, do you think this is godly behavior? Nothing y'all people do is what you call godly or righteous. That's a fact. Look at this right here, family. This is why I say I'll never claim to be no native. Why do Native Americans have so much Neanderthal DNA? Oops. Oops. Word to the foundational Black Americans. Woe to the Israelites claiming, I'm born in this land. It's my land. We belong here. That is not a flex at all, family. That is not a flex at all. Yeah. Family, don't pay him no attention. He's just looking for some attention. That's what he's trying to do. And don't even give it to him, because I'm not going to give it to him. I know what type of time these people are on. Well, look at that. How interesting. All right, I'm going to show y'all a few videos real quick. Give me a second. Hold on one second. All right, I'm going to show you guys a few videos, okay, on TikTok.
but you gotta love yourself no matter what you look like. Pow! Bro looks like Neanderthal.
Hold on a second there.
I mean, yes, but you gotta love yourself no matter what you look like. Power!
Wow, bro. Okay, let's keep going. Now, they told us that these people went extinct. Doesn't look like it. Let's keep going.
First, I got to battle these flies because they're all coming from my high liver. This is liver that's about a year old. Look how black it is. It stinks like poop. Spicy. Tastes like pepper. It's so potent. But now for something yummy. Who would say no for some honey mustard ham? People say, do I season my raw meat? You can. Here's a little cinnamon. Put some cinnamon on my pork chops. Get away flies. Put some beer mustard. Just a tab. And some honey from these bees right here. These bees that are around here, this is their honey because my neighbor has a bee farm. So let's eat some. Oh, and this is beef bone marrow right here. Honey ham. Raw. Of course, raw. Always eat raw. First, I got to battle these flies because they're all coming from my high liver. This is
Now, I'm not going to fault you for saying this because I understand that there's a lot of lies on the internet and a lot of them seem pretty convincing a lot of the time. Conspiracy theorists will run with a grain of truth and then just insert all kinds of things with nefarious purposes. So here's the nugget of truth in this statement. Europeans and their descendants have a higher percentage of DNA that matches with the Neanderthal genome than other ethnicities. Broadly, for Europeans, it's about 3 to 4%, and for other races, it's anywhere between 1 and 3%. But this is not because white people are Neanderthals. And Neanderthals actually were a very intelligent species, very close to humans. It's just that humans had enough advantages. For a long time, the leading theory was that humans, Homo sapiens, basically just outbred and possibly even killed off the Neanderthals. But now we believe it's something different. There is the fact that we probably outbred them, but also we probably bred with them. It seems that, especially on the European continent, but also elsewhere, Homo sapiens and Homo neanderthalensis, and if I remember correctly, it's actually been reclassified as Homo sapiens sapiens, us Cro-Magnons, and Homo sapiens neanderthalensis, which is the Neanderthals. But I could be wrong about that. If I am, go ahead and correct me. But yeah, the accepted, I wouldn't say accepted, but the leading theory right now is that Homo sapiens sapiens was able to just outpace Neanderthals and either outbreed them or mix them into their own gene pool. But these kinds of comments are why I don't like identitarianism of any kind. We are all one race. We are all humans. We have different cultures and different ethnicities and different backgrounds, and that is beautiful. And it's part of what I love so much about living in America. We have this great ethnic and cultural melting pot where people from all over the world have come together to bring the best parts of what makes them them and share them with everybody. I love that I can wear a shirt made with dyes from Africa while eating a plate of Indian food and listening to Celtic folk music. That is such an incredible milestone of human society that we are able to peacefully share our cultures with one another and appreciate one another. But beliefs like this, conspiracies like this, that white people aren't human, that's a step backwards. We shouldn't be othering one another. We shouldn't be grouping back together into our own little skin color-based clans. And
sir, we were called 3/5 human. Okay? Again, you are becoming the byword. It's not so pretty, is it? It doesn't feel so good to be disparaged against. But here's the thing. What they said about us was not based in fact, but lies. What we are showing is based in truth. And we got the Bible to back us up on this. That's the difference. That's why it hurts 10 times more, because it's true.
Hating everybody else who isn't part of that. For a long time now, we as a society have been moving towards a world where we can appreciate and enjoy one another and really see the best in each other. And I think that's beautiful. I think that's amazing. But conspiracy theories and pseudoscience like this, it's not doing the right thing. It might feel good to tell somebody who historically their people have oppressed your people that they're less than you, but that's not good for anybody. That's not doing anything good for society, whether you're white, black, brown, purple, I don't care. We're all human beings, and we should celebrate our differences, not use them as clubs to hit each other with. Now, I'm not going to fault you for saying this, because I understand that there's a lot of lies on the internet, and a lot of them seem pretty convincing a lot of the time. Conspiracy theorists will run with a grain of truth and then just insert all.
So they can't handle the truth. You know, when the shoe is on the other foot, it doesn't feel so good. But again, this is just where we are at here. And you know, the thing is,
all kinds of things with nefarious purposes. So here's the nugget of truth.
Pause that. The thing is, a lot of these things that we are coming into understanding about is not.
Now, I'm not going to fault you for saying this, because I understand that there's a lot.
Gosh, I'm trying to mute this guy, man. A lot of these things that we are coming into understanding about is not by our power.
With nefarious purposes. So here's
why does this keep playing? Oh my gosh. Let me just stop sharing this. Okay, there we go. A lot of these things that are being revealed to us are not by our own power. They are by Yahuah's power. Because these things that they have worked to cover up and hide from us, we now know because Yahuah has revealed it. But you can't think that every lie does not have an expiration date on it. Okay? If you read the book of 2nd Esdras, Yahuah says that there will come a time where all truth will be revealed, and people will be hungering for the truth. They'll be desirous for the truth. And that is the time in which we are living right now, family. And more stuff is going to come out. This is not new information. This has just been stuff that they've had the power to suppress, but now no longer, because the time of the Gentiles is coming to an end. So when the time of the Gentiles is coming to an end, family, then the truth comes out, because the Gentiles are the one that have lied. Okay? If they wouldn't have lied, we'd know who we were a long time ago, but it wasn't the appointed time. Yahuah, he has what we call muadim, appointed times for when things are to be known, right? And this is that time, because the time of the Gentiles is coming to an end. And this is why we are seeing many of the Gentiles who are awakening to this, and they're able to acknowledge it, and they're able to say, okay, you know what? I might have been wrong about you guys. Even then, I want to give a shout out to the Gentiles that are able to see this for what this is. I want to shout out to the Gentiles that said, you know what? I accept your people. I accept that you guys are Yahuah's people. We have Gentiles here in this chat that join with us on our streams regularly. And these things I'm bringing out are not to make you feel any less human or anything of that nature, right? This is just to help you understand that white supremacy is a myth based upon not so much the system that we are dealing with, but it is a myth based upon what one man thinks of himself in comparison to the Negro. Once you understand that white supremacy is a myth, you can denounce not just the ideology, but the religion of white supremacy. Come into relationship with Yahuah and Yahusha. Put aside the fact that the white man is not the main character of this scenario when it comes to Yahuah. You should be okay with that. I mean, he's willing to accept you. It is my desire that you come into covenant with the Most High so you can be spared of the things that will come up on this earth, because they're already starting. We all have a choice that we have to make, whether we choose to love the truth or whether we choose to walk in delusion. That's going to be up to you. We leave it up to the Gentiles. But listen, I'm going to tell you right now, as a Negro, I will not turn you away if you are truly seeking the Most High. But you have to understand as a Gentile that there is a place that you have as a Gentile to cleave to his children, to accept his children, and to allow his children to teach you. We are your only way out of this land. We are your only way out of the destruction that's coming. I'm not saying you can't believe in Yahushua, right? But Yahushua's not coming until after the tribulation. That's what it says. I know y'all Gentiles believe in the pre-trib rapture, right? Yahushua's not coming until after the tribulation. So you can believe in him all you want, right? But before he comes, there's the Exodus. Before he comes, the judgment, the great, great judgment, the day of Yahuah. You don't have to be a part of that. I'm just saying, you don't have to be. But like I said, I feel like, you know, with many, their ideology of you know, cognitive dissonance, right? The cognitive dissonance and also rejecting of certain truths is really going to be their undoing. It's going to be their undoing. I'm going to share a few more videos, family. We're going to close this out because, boy, this has been a very, very in-depth study, and I don't want to hold you guys too long, all right? So I'm going to just show you this last little video here, last few little videos. And this is also echoing what we learned in today's study about the Africans being the pure people.
My great-granddaddy told me there wasn't no such thing as a coincidence. So there has to be a reason that all Africans, black Africans, and their direct descendants do not have Neanderthal DNA in them. Does this shed light on the reasons why everybody on the planet with Neanderthal DNA in them treats us the way they do?
All right. So you got more evidence about the pure human beings, which are the people that come from the continent. Now, that not only that, family, but that also substantiates where Yahuwah's chosen land is, which would be the continent. Because if we're talking about an Alua that did not desire for his people to mix with other nations or anything of that nature, right? Then if the purest human beings come from that area, then I would tell you it would make sense that the Israelites would be within the continent where you find the purest human beings, because we had an Alua who did not agree with mixing with other nations. But yet here in America, here in these you know, these other lands and stuff like that, you got all this type of mixing going on all the time. That's been an ideology that's been accepted and pushed for a very, very, very long time. And even in these last days, it's being pushed more than it's ever been. Very interesting. Martha says, did y'all see when Pastor Darby said the Gentiles can produce the rabbit gene, the Rh negative blood type, meaning they consumed rabbit fluid, meaning they mutated themselves? I did see that, and I used some of that teaching he did in my Esau and the Horites documentary. But it wasn't, they were mutated long before they were drinking rabbit's blood, because they descend from people who were Horites, and Horites were much like the people they came from. They were, you know, cannibals and stuff like that. So, you know, they had a desire for human flesh. They had a desire for blood. You know what I'm saying? And if you watch the documentary, we talked about some of the Romans and the blood drinking. You look at Amalek. We talked about Amalek. We talked about the people who claim to be the chosen, how they do the blood drinking rituals and stuff like that. It goes deep. But yeah, I did see that. I did see that. But they were mutated long before they were eating rabbit flesh. That's for sure. All right, I'm going to show y'all this next thing here, and I think we'll close it out. I think it's been a good lesson, family. Hope you guys have learned something. You know, in this lesson, I think it's you know, it's very, very beneficial to understand these things, as this time of truth is continuing to open our eyes to many things that we have not known. Even me, and I'm not know-it-all. I'm not Yahuah, right? I'm not all-knowing, but there are more and more things that are making more sense to me in this walk that I'm continuing to share with you guys that are walking in Yahuah, Yahusha, to understand these truths. Because trust and believe, family, we ain't seen nothing yet. Oh, there's very much more that the Most High will reveal. I heard somebody mention Marjorie Taylor Greene. Can I do it? Can I do it to him? You know what? Why not? So if you look at this image of Marjorie Taylor Greene and the Neanderthal side by side, the resemblance is uncanny. Oh my gosh. I mean, they're twins. I mean, how can you not see the resemblance? Like, look at this. I mean, the round face, the pound face, pit bull face. I mean, same thing. Same texture, eyes, nose, it's all there. Oh boy. That's her cousin. Let me show y'all this one. I thought this one was actually pretty interesting. Some of y'all might think this is a little cold-blooded, but I ain't gonna lie. When I first saw it, I thought it was kind of funny. I don't think it's too bad. I think there's truth to it. You know, we deal with truth over here. Okay, all right. That's enough there, family. Okay, I wanted to end it on a high note. We have a little fun. Of course, here on this channel, we do a lot of like deep studies and stuff like that. We joke, we laugh, but we learn a lot from each other. We share a lot of information. I'm gonna stick around for a few more minutes. If you guys have any questions, I'm gonna drop the link into the chat. If you guys want to call in, feel free to do so. I'm only gonna be on here for a few more minutes, so if you guys have anything to say, I'm gonna just drop this in. I'm interested to see what you guys have to say. But I feel like this is going to be the conclusion of the series. Unless I end up finding more information where I feel like I need to do a part 2, I definitely will. But yeah, I feel like we've definitely we've nipped it in the bud. Those who are made in Yahuah's image are melanated individuals, people that are able to live within an African climate with no issue whatsoever. Those would be who are made in his image, be it the black man and the black woman. And it's just that simple. It is just that simple. And I'll be going through some of you guys' questions. You guys have any questions, feel free to chime in. Let's see. Her greasy hair grandma. I ain't messing with none of y'all today, man. And the way she talks about us is wild. Oh, indeed. I mean, sheesh, it's just there's so much hate, right? Like just like Jasmine Crockett, right? That black woman that's in Congress, and you know she gave her the read of the century, right? The what did she say? Butch body, bleach blonde, built body, something. I don't even remember what it was that she said, but she gave her the read of the century because she wanted to go for the black woman. You know, talk about the black woman and, you know, wearing eyelashes and stuff like that. What's wrong with that? A black woman can't look beautiful, can't look desirable. You know what I'm saying? She came for the black woman and she got read by the black woman. Sometimes I think the Gentiles have to understand when it comes to us, you got to just have a hands-off policy. You ain't got nothing nice to say. Don't say nothing at all. But understand if you do say something, there will be a clap back that might just hurt your feelings. I'm just saying. It's all about how you come to somebody. Bleach. Okay. Let me say this slowly. Bleach, blonde, bad built, butch body. Whoo! Say that 3 times fast. Bleach, blonde, bad built, butch body. And when Jasmine Crockett said it, bro, she said it so effortlessly. Just that it was the read of the century. That's what I call it. She gave her that work. Pastor Flex says, yeah, butch body, bad built, bleach blonde. I don't know how y'all got it so together. For me, it's like a tongue twister. You know what I'm saying? I was just trying to struggle to say it, but yeah, I don't think she was ready for that. I don't think that Marjorie Taylor Greene was ready for what was going to hit her way with that. I don't think she was ready for that at all. Thanks. All right, fam. Well, Thank you guys again to everybody that has been here. Thank you to everybody who has continued to support me here on this channel, whether you're subscribing, whether you're cash apping, whether you're liking, sharing the videos. I appreciate every bit of support that you guys have dedicated to this channel and to what Yahuah is leading me to do. I appreciate all of you guys. And, you know, as I said, I'm going to be doing more and more teachings more frequently. I'm going to try to, like I said, here on this channel, I know you guys sometimes aren't able to make every episode, every show that I do, but I'm going to be trying to do at least 3 to 4 teachings a week, 3 to 4 live streams a week. We keep it going as much as we can because Yahuah, he pressed it up on my heart. We don't have much time left on these platforms, okay? And that's something I'm telling every single Yahudi, every single Yasharali Israelite that's out there that got a channel. We don't have much time on these platforms because they're already building up this system. They're already about to move this into web, what do they call it? Web 3.0 or whatever. And all the formats of these platforms are about to change. Eventually, they're going to require digital ID. Eventually, they're going to require authentication and things of that nature. And we're not complying with none of that. Okay, so I'm just telling you to Pastor Rick Fletcher, Aki Yakoba, if he is still in here, all of our people that are continuing to bring forward the truth to our people, just continue to crank out as much content as you can because we don't have much time on these platforms and we're going to have to start looking for alternatives. And I think it's important for Israelites that are in these positions of leadership to come together, you know what I'm saying, and figure out ways when that time comes to be able to still share truth and you know, spiritually help feed our people in these times because, you know, just because they might change these platforms around doesn't mean that we're going to stop preaching the truth, right? So I do think it's important for all of us who do have channels to continue to crank out as much content to wake our people up as much as possible. Pay attention to the signs of the times. Pay attention to the signs of Yahuah, what's going on in the world. I'm not saying be distracted by the news. I'm and be distracted by all these things going on in the industry and things like that. But do pay attention to the signs of the times. Yahuah did warn us about that. Yahusha was literally rebuking, you know, many people because they couldn't discern the signs of the times. And that's one thing he expects us to do. And that's what he warned us about in Yahusha warned us about Matthew 24, Mathath Yahu 24. So I'm going to close this out with prayer, family, before we close out, okay? Father Yahuah, Aralua, Father, we thank you for this time where you have gathered your people together for a time of truth. Father, we live in a season of this great awakening. More things are coming to the light that you are revealing by your mighty hand. Father, ancient truths that have been covered up and hidden and suppressed are now being revealed to your true people, the children of Yasharah, who many call the children of Israel. Father, may your mercy, may your favor, and may your protective wings cover all your children. To the Gentiles grafted in, Father, I pray that your spirit will abide with them to help them walk in obedience to your Torah and to your covenant, Father, and to follow in the ways of Yahushua HaMashiach, Father. Father, I pray that we as priests, your priests, Father, we will continue to preach the Bashura, the good news of Yahushua to all nations that will believe upon your name, Father. And that we can all one day walk on one accord. There won't be this doctrine and that doctrine and camp doctrine and mistranslations and all these things. Father, it is our prayer that Yasharah will once again walk as one nation under one Torah as your people. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, we pray these things. Yada Yahuah, Aman. I love you all, family. Please be sure to hit the like button on your way out. I appreciate everybody that's been here. We will probably be back. I'm going to be doing another episode of The Deceptive Pens of the Scribes. Yahuah, Baruch you all in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. I love you all. Shalom.
Hey, yes, sir.
Yo, I rest on the 7th day, it surely isn't Sunday. One path to Yahuah and Yahusha is the one way. Narrow path, step and stay on track like a subway. Yahusha crack the sky with the Malakim someday. Dietary laws, ain't no eating swine flesh. Yahusha garment staining blood like the wine press. The heathens crying out, strong delusion, they the blindest. These heathens can't keep Jesus, not appease in the slightest. Feast days, moral laws, keeping the Shabbats. Don't follow the ways to eat them, by Yahusha's blood I'm bought. Jesus is a big Virgin Mary, don't need her. Yes, I spin the block on the devil with the heater. Covenant keeper, the Ruach is my teacher. Yahuah the creator, worship him and not the creature. Christianity can't be any same old difference. You call on pagan names and you call yourself bishops. Heathens in these camps, Jacob giving up his birthright. Hugged up with these nations, white bodied like a termite. Reject the Messiah, yeah, your doctrine is Jewish. Scum of the earth, cause that doctrine is sewage. Yahusha in the Torah, you can't see it, you foolish. Committed to Yahuah, it's a fact that I do this. You are my enemy if you an enemy of Torah. Destruction for the wicked, just like Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, ain't no new ways, doctrine, no chakras, no auras. The Apocrypha, I read it, I explore it like Dora. I'm a strong black man with biblical values. Fulfill doesn't mean abolish, yeah, I'm quoting out Matthew. I'm not a patriot, I am fearing the lure. 24 and forever, my king is Yahusha. I don't care about America, she surely gon' fall. And the ops gon' hate you when you Kadasha you called. Yahusha 24, always and forever. To Yahuah I surrender, my life has been better. Put no trust in no man, nor you are a curse. All esteem to Yahuah, ayy, I put him first. Yeah, whoa, ayy. Yahusha 24, ayy, it's Yahusha 24, ayy. Yahusha 24, Yahusha 24, Yahusha 24. All esteem to Yahuah in the highest. Baruch haba Basham Yahuah. Baruch atah King Yahusha.